Good afternoon, sir. My name is Ajinkya Bhagurkar. Welcome to collegenia.com. And thank you that
Good
you are.
afternoon, Ajinkya.
Thank you, sir. We are glad that you are part of our interview section, which is called Thoughts on Education. So, sir, the first thing that we'll start is we'll start with your introduction, some introduction about yourself, about your career in education industry.
Sure. I am Professor Vilas Karjini. Currently, I am holding the position of director at one of the prestigious institutions of Western Maharashtra, Kolhapur Institute of Technologies, College of Engineering, Autonomous Kolhapur. Prior to this, I have served around 37 years in the field of engineering education, plus little bit of consulting and some of the professional groups. And initially, I started my career at KLE Society's College of Engineering, Belagavi, Karnataka. Later on, I have served as principal at KLE Society's College of Engineering, Chikkodi, and TKIT Varnanagar, Sanjay Ghodawat Institute, Atigre, and presently, since about last almost 7-8 years, I am serving as the director of KIT's College of Engineering, Kolhapur. This is my brief introduction in a nutshell.
Excellent, sir. Thank you for the introduction. Great knowing about you, sir. So, sir, we will actually start with the interview. So, the burning question right now is, sir, about the education policy that we have introduced or the government has introduced recently. So, sir, I just wanted to know what are your views on the education policy, how it is going to make a difference in education all the way.
To begin with, national education policy is going to make greater impact in our Indian education scenario, be it engineering, be it medical, or even other non-professional courses. The simple reason is, in fact, this policy would have come way back, about a decade or 15 years back. But fortunate enough that now Government of India has made the bill passed and they have implemented. Here, there is a lot of scope in the policy to the skill upgradation of all the professionals. That is number one. And one need not have to spend a lot on making them aware of the day-to-day technological happenings and other latest, because every part is taken care. Not only that, a student can join a program and discontinue, earn some experiences out of the field, again rejoin, and then take his education to next level. So this is the beauty of this education policy. And a lot of now the earlier Ministry of Human Resource Development is very well rechristened as Ministry of Education now. And the Ministry of Education has taken a lot of care, in making this policy effective and trigger the Indian economy to the next higher levels. So that is what I feel.
Right.
And here, in this policy, the government has introduced several things and they have given thrust for autonomy, which is the need of the hour. So they are encouraging all the institutions should become autonomous or universities and then have their own, niche programs where the industry requires, be it IT industry, manufacturing industry, infrastructure industry, or energy sector. So that is the beauty of new education policy, I can say.
Absolutely, sir. So, sir, I just wanted to know if do you think that the timing of introduction of this education policy is the right timing, or it should have been introduced way back, or it should have been introduced after some years from now? So, what are your views on that?
My personal view is that it should have been thought bit early, But nevertheless, late the now post-COVID, I should say, this policy is going to trigger the rate of growth of economy of India, because already we have wasted since March 21st, COVID, post-COVID lockdown and all, but UGC itself has brought in lot of reforms, and nothing has stopped. Rather, online lectures are going on, online labs are going on, VLab through VLab and all. So that means, so it is right time, we should say. It is right time. Now we should brace it wholeheartedly and see that now onus lies on all the state governments, who should take a lot of initiations and see that the policy is implemented at the earliest.
Absolutely. So, sir, what I get is now the implementation of policy is very important, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Implementation in the sense now, even our government of Maharashtra or government of Karnataka, they have already set up a battery of technocrats, educationists, and scientists and administrators in studying and implementing this policy. So they have been given the mandate as well as the target also to suggest the government how to go ahead. I think it will be done at the earliest in a more effective manner.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Sir, and since you are the part of KIT COE, which is a well-known college in Kolhapur as well as in Maharashtra, so I just wanted to know, to do become a good college or to become a very good college in terms of education or in terms of placements. So what are the practices that should be there with the college? So, or else the question would be, what is the best practice that KIT COK applies for its students and faculties?
You have asked a very right question. You first asked me about NEP, and before NEP to has come now, but in way back 1718 itself, KIT became autonomous institution under the UGC Act 1956. And once we became autonomous, we have done a lot of consolidations, we have done a lot of research in our curriculum, and KIT USP is, in fact, KIT is started by a group of visionary industrialists and educationalists to produce quality engineering professionals, which otherwise was in paucity in the Western Maharashtra. The college started in 1983, and we have now crossed almost 37 years, and we have produced more than many technocrats who are working on not only in Maharashtra but all over the globe, I should say. So KIT first USP is industry linkage. As our leaders are visionary industrialists, they have been emphasizing on teachers upgradation through industry interactions and student interactions through industry-related problem-solving techniques. And then students are exposed to project-based learning kind of initiatives, which make them hands-on, aware of devising the things, understanding the problem, and then coming with multiple solutions to that problem, so that industry can brace one of the most efficient and optimal solutions. These, in fact, we have inculcated in our curriculum. That is one of the best USPs, I should say, KIT is doing right now. As well as KIT's examination system is 100% digital and transparent. Many universities are following it up. Autonomous institution, I am proud to say that KIT is only institution where whole of the examination system is fully digital, and involvement of external faculty is more than 60% here in setting question papers and assessing papers and moderations. And then we also decentralized our evaluation process. The teachers sitting in their offices can access our server and evaluate on-screen answer scripts, and that has saved a lot of time as well as labor in the examination process. And not only that, we show our answer scripts, soft scripts to our students before declaring the results. If there are any anomalies, discrepancies, they are heard and then they are rectified and then the result is declared. So grievance readdressal system is very, very robust in our examination system. So at the end of the day, we want to give the students question papers, soft answer scripts, grade cards, transcripts, and degree certificate in soft form in a pen drive, and give him all his documents in a very, very microchip way, in the microchip. This is what the USP of KIT should say.
Absolutely, sir. So it is a complete transparent process.
Yes.
Everything is accessible to everyone. That's what I understand.
Yes, yes.
Absolutely, sir. And one more thing, in any college or in any company, for that matter, if you go anywhere, the leader of the team or the leader of the company is very important. The way the leader takes the team and guides the team is where the team goes eventually. So in your case, what can you define as your philosophy of leadership, and what you would say is your leadership style?
My leadership philosophy is I have trust in my team members, number one, and I have delegated all the responsibilities to many of my subordinates. Like in normal course, you find either there will be a principal, director, or vice principal and deputy director, and you have HODs and all. But what we have created in our KIT system, organization structure, is that below me, there are 8 deans. Dean Academic,
Okay.
Dean Research and Development, Dean Quality Assurance, Dean Students Affairs, Dean Alumni and Corporate Relations, Dean Industry Linkages, as well as Registrar, likewise, and Dean Research Programs and PG programs. So these deans have been again supported by a couple of deputy deans who would be, assisting these deans in effective implementation of their responsibilities. Under them, we have head of department in all the 7 core engineering branches, like computer science engineering, we have environmental civil engineering, we have civil engineering, we have electrical engineering, we have electronics and telecommunication engineering, we have mechanical engineering. Even we have one niche program that is BTech in biotechnology, 7 core branches, as well as the basic science department, which caters the first year engineering. So likewise, we have 8 heads of departments who again in turn will handle effective program implementation. So in that way, I don't believe in single boss culture, and I believe in creating domain specific leaders under me so that they have been empowered to take their decisions and bring in the growth to the institution.
Absolutely, sir. Excellent to hear that. So, great, sir. And sir, one more thing, as you mentioned in your introduction, you have some corporate experience. You have worked in corporate setup earlier before this. So, sir, what makes you think that education industry is one of the best industries to work for, and what gives you that satisfaction of working in education industry?
No, if you see the Facebook or Google companies abroad in US, they all have started from a garage, but they all have center of excellences in many front running universities. That means a teacher having bookish knowledge will not be able to produce industry tailor-made engineers. Teacher has to upgrade time and again and then be abreast with the latest trend in his domain and impart those things. And even I say that he should be able to identify a proper problem faced by the industry, give an amicable solutions, not one solution, but the 2-3 solutions, so that that industry can pick one of the best solutions to suit their needs. And these kind of initiatives definitely are going to help the growth of the industry. In turn, industry is again supporting the economy of the nation itself. This is what I feel.
Right.
So, I being transportation and traffic specialization, civil engineering that again. So I always have involved in field projects to give them solutions to their problems, be it a road construction or transport planning, or even to the extent of Shamshabad Airport, which is executed by GMR Group, where I was all involved in their projects. And I believe this philosophy definitely brings in a lot of experience, knowledge to the student. Otherwise, it is difficult to understand from the book or through videos.
Right, right. So the practical education is very important, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. And yes, yes. Sir, and we always hear that the experience is the best teacher. So everyone who is at an elder age or who is teaching someone will always tell about the experience, which will help, which helps individuals in doing various things. So can you just tell me how does the decades of experience that you have help in your daily activities at KIT College of Engineering? How does it help you?
No, the more we have experience, normally we come across variety of issues, variety of problems, which may not be the repetitive ones. So every year you come across new things, new issues, and every issue definitely or every problem definitely has a solution. Problem cannot remain a problem forever. So it is an administrator, a leader should look into it, try to negotiate with those problem-making elements, and then see that a win-win situation is created amongst the either the both parties, 3 parties or 4 parties kind of thing. So in this aspect, the experience, the more the experience one has, it is going to bring the solutions or bring those conflicts, solve those conflicts. That is what I see out of my experience also, and I've practiced also those things.
Okay, okay. And sir, KIT College being the autonomous college in Kolhapur, how does the curriculum of KIT COE ensure that the practical learning and implementation of the academic knowledge is relevant in the real world for students?
You have again asked a very good and a very latest question, which also supplements the national education policy. Right from the first year itself, we practice process-based learning or problem-based learning, wherein a group of students are given a problem and they're asked to give solution in the most economic and efficient way. So learning happens right from first year. Thereafter, every year we have, like semester, we have one course dedicated and imparted on project-based learning concept. That is one thing. Second is, in our autonomy, we have devised the last semester, 8th semester, totally for internship. So we are pushing all students to take up the internal internships at various industries of their domain interest and spend time from say 4 to 8 weeks, sometimes 6 months also. so that they become very much aware of corporate practices, number one. Then their knowledge gets upgraded. Then what happens? Their bondage with that company will many a times yield a good placement also as the byproduct. I don't say placement as the main objective in KIT. Always we see placement as a byproduct of our process, because we upgrade our students technically, we upgrade our students aptic skills also we impart them, communication skill we impart them, and even soft skills also we try to impart them over the year of 4 years. So that definitely this is the academic reforms we have brought in. Above all, fortunately, our AICT New Delhi has introduced honors concept in engineering. I think you must be aware that is BTech honors in civil engineering with specialization, something XYZ. That kind of thing we have floated almost all branches. Suppose my honors in computer science is BTech honors in computer science engineering with specialization artificial intelligence and machine learning. My civil specialization in strategic civil structures. What are these? See, AICT says you should give 160 credit course. But if there are bright students, if they are toppers, fast learners, for them, they have given the scope of BTech honors, wherein that ward will undergo 18 to 20 extra credits. Maybe you can take about 5 or 6 courses extra over and above the regular curriculum of 160 credits. And he'll be learning these things right from second year, that is third semester, fourth semester, fifth, sixth, and seventh. So he'll be complete those extra credits and he'll be earning this BTech honor specialization, which keeps him apart and makes him employable, more employable, and he'll be able to get quality employment from the renowned industries and corporates. This is what we have done in our autonomous system.
Absolutely, sir. Great. And sir, since you have joined KIT, so what was your vision when you joined KIT, and how has that evolved over time?
In fact, KIT was almost a top institution only. It is not that I have transformed drastically from bottom to top.
Right.
KIT is known, you also know, and your all team members also know. But one thing is, after I joined about 6-7 years back, my agenda was to put quality initiatives on top priority. Like I took up the task of going for NAC accreditation. NAC is a UGC autonomous body, and normally universities and art science colleges used to go. Then we thought, why should not we go? And I'm happy to share that we are the first college in Western Maharashtra to get NAC A grade by NAC Bengaluru with CGPA of 3.12, thumping CGPA of 0.2. So that is one thing. Later on, we started applying for permanent affiliation. That we got. We also got 2F12B recognition by UGC under 1956 UGC Act. Then, of course, we phased manner went to application for NBA, National Board of Accreditation, New Delhi. Likewise, today, almost all eligible branches of KIT are NBA accredited branches. And as I said earlier also, in 17-18, by virtue of these quality initiatives, we were granted autonomy by UGC New Delhi.
Okay. And sir, like for the students who are not very aware about KIT COE, I am very sure that students in Maharashtra are very well aware of this college. But students who are out of Maharashtra, who are looking to come in Maharashtra but who are not very aware of this, what are the things that you would want any student to know about KIT COE, which will actually help him in making a concrete decision for his undergraduate degree or postgraduate degree?
We, in fact, we never used to advertise for our admissions. More publicity and our large network of alumni members and stakeholders and their trust on KIT used to bring in the admissions. But of late, we also have thought we should breach the barrier. Then we approached you people for digital marketing. We took your advice. Then our team of admission committee people are working hand in hand with other social media network and social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn and all. So with these kind of initiatives, we want to get best of the best quality input, not only from Maharashtra, but outside the Maharashtra. This is what our strategy in the days to come. And we already started in that direction.
Absolutely. Sir, I actually wanted to know what are the qualities or what are the practices that are already there in KIT COE which you want to know, which you would want someone to know, as in a student to know. So what are the basic things or what are the differences?
Acha. KIT works closely with corporates, and we have several number of MOUs with all kind of industries, not only IT industry, but some manufacturing industry, some automation industries and all. They have set up their center of excellences in KIT, wherein the initiatives like Industry 4.0, we have already started imparting as a coursework in our autonomous structure. And automation is going to come in all fraternity of engineering, I should say, whether it is civil engineering through smart city concept or mechanical engineering with robots and other artificial intelligence and Internet of Things drives. So, and KIT does not produce plain vanillas, I should say, in a short note. Plain vanilla in the sense, we don't only confine to either mechanical or computer science. We bring them on single platform. We try to teach them in a team manner so that they can exchange their thoughts and come out with new ideas. Even we encourage through our KITE, which is the incubation and innovation cell of KIT. We have named it as KITE. So we have space to students to give their ideas and then nurture them and maybe handhold them for marketing, and then we are supporting that also to our incubation center KITE.
Okay, excellent, sir. And sir, the last question that we have an interview, which has been there for last 7 months. Due to this COVID situations, the corporates have faced heat. People have lost jobs. People are not very sure of what they want to do in the future. So any suggestions that you would like to give to current youth and the aspiring students, as well as the young people who have faced some hard situations in their corporate life?
Yeah. COVID, many people, many students must have thought it as a hurdle in their career, but it is not a hurdle. It has opened up several windows. You take education, even though there was a digitization drive earlier also, but real sense digitization has happened now. Education sector. Government of India is accepting online teaching. Government of India is accepting online examination. To that extent, even PhD presentations are done online. So, to the young mind, my advice is that, and not only that, lot of, in the days to come, manufacturing sector from neighboring countries is going to come to India. Already it is happening. And the mind of the government has also changed. All the state governments and central government, they are becoming opened up now. They are wholeheartedly accepting the proposals to set up, and a single window clearance kind of thing, concepts have come. Liberally, they are giving lands, liberally, they are giving powers and all. So, hereafter, opportunities are going to be very, very huge. Only thing is to match those opportunities, to match those requirements, our students should mentally be prepared, should slog extra hours in learning these domains and updating themselves and proving their skills in the industry, so that in all we will be joining hands of Government of India in becoming the superpower at global level. So there are opportunities. One example I always give to my students is a motivation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'll proceed. Reliance Industry, we can see Reliance Industry did not only focus on manufacturing, but they transformed their Reliance Group from that core manufacturing to now a digital platform, digital marketing group. And that is the reason why the Google, Microsoft, and Facebook and all, they have invested in Reliance. So that itself is the validation that the days coming are going to be very, very rosy, but at the same time, they'll be challenging also, unless and until we meet up these complex requirements. It is difficult to come up in the profession. This is what is
Absolutely, sir.
the scenario. I think
So,
I
sir,
come up to your expectations.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, sir. Sir, so what I understand is you have to have that specific skill set to get successful in the coming times. You have to have and develop that specific skill
And
set.
one should be ready for multifaceted challenges.
Right, right, right.
A civil engineer should not say, I do not know coding, or
Yes.
computer science engineer should not say, I don't know about dams or bullet trains.